Atmospheric rivers on the move, new timing and totals for Northern California. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods looking at our weather impact alert days ahead. We have added an extra day. Thursday, we're going to call for a weather impact alert because we're not only going to be impacted for the morning commute, but through the day and the evening commute with additional rainfall coming through. We are going to also keep that Saturday in play. Commutes will be slick, with roadways potentially having some minor flooding issues, needing to prepare for extra travel time ahead in the forecast as we get back to an active weather pattern. And we are going to keep you ahead of it all. Download that ABC 10 Plus streaming app wherever you stream on TV. We've got in-depth forecasts and explainers there. And especially with this active weather pattern like what we're seeing starting off Thursday through the weekend, even early next week, getting into the busy travel period. You want to make sure to stay ahead of all those impact areas. Here's the first weather system we're going to be tracking. This one is actually fairly on the weaker side compared to what we're going to see on Saturday, but it is picking up steam and actually now showing some potential for higher rainfall totals than even what we were seeing yesterday at this time. Our winter weather advisory will be in place starting off tonight through Thursday with bigger impacts for the Sierra than, say, for the Valley. In fact, that was the area that we were initially focusing on for our Thursday forecast. We're still going to see lesser amounts in rainfall, but the deal is this band of rain isn't just going to be a quick moving system. We're going to have lingering impacts through the day. So we still get the heaviest rainfall overnight for the Valley, but you're going to see we're still going to have the showers come back during the afternoon. Now, once the snow starts in the Sierra, it is steady and widespread along 395, the 8050 corridor, 88, 89, Highway 4, 120, all of the passes that are open are going to be impacted throughout the day. I want to focus on this little band of rain right here off the coast because watch how that starts to roll on through during the midday hour through the evening commute. So we get this little push of a back edge of that system coming through the valley. Again, snow, it's going to be steady throughout the day, which will give us higher totals from this first wave. Friday, we start off dry, but you can see once again, here comes the next wave moving through. So we get a little bit of a break in there, enough certainly for some of those creeks and streams to start to come down a bit before the heavier stuff arrives by the end of the work week and into the beginning of the weekend. Friday, we'll have some of those showers popping up midday, but the bigger stuff still is looming off the coast. So we're kind of looking at on and off showers here once we can open up that storm door. For our Thursday, we're going to keep it open through early next week. I'm just going to show the initial model rainfall totals for Thursday. We get the biggest push of rain coming through in the morning, but about 1/10 of an inch or so still coming through during the afternoon. That's enough to put some pressure on some of those creeks and streams for the afternoon. Certainly, in the ponding on the roadways could mean that a delayed onset of clearing that out. We still have leaves on the trees, and that is blocking some of those storm drains. Just be aware, driving in low-lying areas, very possible that we're going to find a little bit of those outflow from the storm drains coming through the roadways. And then for the foothills, about 1/2 inch to an inch coming through in the form of rain mixed with snow for the higher foothills, because we'll see that snow line start off at about 4,000 feet. It does bump up to about 5,000 feet during the day. Speaking of snow, here's a look at our totals for tomorrow. About 1 to 9 inches of snow possible. That's just the beginning of what we're going to see, though, because we've got multiple waves coming in from the Pacific. Look at this. We are just all lit up with atmospheric rivers getting ready to move on through. This first one suppressing that high pressure ridge, which has been bringing very high fire danger in Southern California. We had the Franklin fire breakout in Malibu due to those strong offshore winds, as well as in Northern California. Poor air quality, periods of patchy dense fog and some frost as well. Now all of that is going to change in a matter of hours. Our 3 to 7 day weather hazards outlook does put Northern California and parts of the northern foothills in that heavy precipitation zone, with the potential for some coastal flooding as well. In fact, we have a coastal flood advisory in place starting off on Thursday morning, lasting through Monday afternoon, because not only are we going to be having the heavy rain come through, but some high tides as well. We're getting close to that full moon. So just be aware any of those parking lots and areas around the beaches may have some issues with some minor flooding. We'll be watching that. Excessive rainfall forecast. You can see a little bit closer perspective here. The foothills just in that zone for Saturday of a marginal risk for excessive rainfall, but it also largely favors the coast, especially the North Bay area, all along 101 up through the northwest corridor there. Be aware, might find some flooding on the roadways. Winter storm severity index. This is also going to be largely impacting us on Saturday. Minor to moderate risk here all the way down the Sierra Spine. Most of that focused around Kirkwood, Bear Valley, Mammoth, Yosemite, right around 395. So once you get through the 80-50 corridor, you head your way southward along 395. That's where we're mostly seeing the bigger potential risks of some heavier snowfall. Snow level forecast. I'll put the numbers up here, but honestly, I'll say this. It's going to be fluctuating between 4,500 feet and 6,500 feet. The bottom line there, we have snow on the passes, and anybody that's driven in the high country, when we have snow on the passes, you know it's slow going. Everybody's got to be checked for those chains or four-wheel drive. The trucks have to pull over to make sure they have chains in their possession, that the chain controls haven't gone up yet, or that they're putting on chains. I know you want to hit that fresh powder. It's been a week or so since we've gotten decent snowfall. Saturday is not our best day. Sunday's really good. Set that alarm clock, get ready, hit the slopes on Sunday. You're going to find so much fresh powder. It's going to be worth the drive up the hill. Our high pressure ridge says goodbye. Here comes the rain coming in on Thursday and the snow for the Sierra. Again, that's why Thursday, Friday is kind of iffy. If you have the day off on Friday, it wouldn't be the worst day to get up there and do some skiing and snowboarding. It's just that we're going to have some lingering showers, and I know it's not fun to drive when all the backups are going on as well. It won't be totally widespread throughout the day, but on the drive home, perhaps you're going to have some difficult travel there on Friday. Saturday's our big day. We start off with a higher snow line, but once that colder air starts to work its way in, we will find that snow line starting to drop. So a little bit slushy on the drive up there on Saturday. For the rain in the valley, it comes through at a pretty good clip here during the morning, but then another wave comes through during the afternoon. And then for the Sierra, you can see all of that was showing kind of that mix turns over to snow by Saturday evening. It's going to be rough up there in the Sierra on Saturday. The valley, the back edge starts to clear out a bit Saturday afternoon. Sunday, it's going to be fantastic. Now, given that we'll have recent rain, lighter winds, we'll have some gusty winds on Saturday, but the winds really start to back off once that cold front moves through. Very likely we'll be back to some patchy, dense fog Sunday morning, and then a lot of cloud cover. And again, we're not done yet. We still have more moisture coming through. First wave moves through on Thursday, but you can see we got another wave in line. That's going to be our Saturday storm. It's the most impactful that we have in the series of storms that are coming through, with this parade of storms almost in the Pacific. The next one moves through on Monday. That's how we'll start off our work and school week. And then after that, well, you'll notice, watch where the moisture plumes head beyond that, really favoring the Pacific Northwest. That being said, there is one on the following Saturday that I am going to be watching, but right now it does look like a high pressure ridge will build in, and it will arc to the north of us, favoring that amplified ridge of high pressure and storm track into the Pacific Northwest. Over the next 7 days, this is just a rough estimate, and very likely these numbers are going to be higher than this, a half an inch to an inch throughout much of the valley from Sacramento southward. Once we get to Sacramento northward, we're talking about 1.75 inches to about 3 inches of rain, 2 to 4+ inches of rain along the northwest coast and into the North Bay area. And that's why that focus of that precipitation risk is going to be in that general area. We'll also find that north of I-80, so places like Grass Valley, Nevada City, also possibly into Quincy. Quincy's going to be kind of in that mix zone there, as well as Blairsden, Bucks Lake. Those are just a couple of places. Snow forecast over the next 10 days. Well, if you are a skier or a snowboarder, or if you just enjoy winter recreation, this is certainly going to bring a smile to your face. 15 to 30 inches of snow possible for Boreal, Sierra Tahoe, Palisades, Tahoe, North Star, Soda Springs, Kirkwood, Sugar Bowl, and Tahoe Donner. Now, I mentioned that area that potentially has the winter severity index more so in that minor to moderate. Kirkwood, you can see how much of a benefit they'll get. 30 inches of snow possible. Soda Springs always seems to get big numbers as well, right around 28 inches of snow expected over the next 10 days. I'll be honest, we actually need the snow. We're starting to see these numbers dwindle. We had a big boost to our snowpack at the end of November with that first significant atmospheric river of the season. As of yesterday, we dropped our numbers. We were running about 150 to 200% of average to date in the Sierra. Now we're at about 70 to 150% of average, and it drops proportionately each day at a rapid pace because this is the time of year we usually see bigger snowfall. November, you get one big storm and those numbers jump up pretty rapidly. And then after that, you've got to keep that pipeline going because we'll start to see these numbers drop down pretty quickly here. Statewide average to date, we're over 100%. Now, if we were not to get any more snow for the rest of the season, which isn't going to happen because of what we're going to see this weekend, our April 1st number is a critical number. That's the point in the year where we see less in the way of snowfall and more in the way of snow melt. So a critical date there, April 1st, we're at 19% of average. So all in all, we're doing pretty well. Statewide precipitation since the beginning of the water year, October 1st, we're still looking at slightly above average for Sacramento, Redding, and Eureka, as well as Bakersfield. Outside of that, numbers are starting to drop to deficits, and they'll continue to drop if we don't pick up the precipitation because, again, December, January, and February are our wettest 3 months. 50% of our precipitation for the entire year typically falls in those 3 months. So we're in the thick of it here as we're starting to edge towards the middle and end of December. This shifted a little bit, the weather hazards outlook. I showed you this yesterday with our precipitation risk, which was favoring parts of Northern California, has now largely favored just along the coast, along 101, up towards parts of the Pacific Northwest, but really favoring along the coast. Also, our heavy snow risk now starting to favor the Cascades as opposed to parts of the Northern Sierra. As far as the wind, also going to favor those same zones there right along the coast and up towards the Pacific Northwest. So as I showed you that future moisture where we saw the potential for a little bit of moisture coming through possibly by the end of next week, it does look like it's going to favor the coast. As we draw closer to big holiday travel periods as well as Christmas, a likely drier setup across much of the West, and also starting to see more and more likely drier move through at least Southern California. Equal chance of wet or dry in Northern California, but that likely wetter scenario now mostly confined to the coast and most of Washington. So we are starting to see some shifts in that storm track here. We'll be in the thick of it through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a nice break on Sunday. But again, as you can see, we got this last little push here on Monday, and then everything pushes its way northward for much of next week, even into our Saturday forecast. Right now, it looks like this is going to hold off the coast. That's certainly one to watch because Saturday, December 21st, big travel day for folks hitting the roadways north and south as we gear up for the Christmas week. We're just 10 days away from the winter solstice, 14 from Christmas Day and Hanukkah, and 21 days from 2025. Wow, fast year here. All right, highs in the 30s tomorrow for this year, 30s and 40s as we make our way down the hill. As we approach the coast, it's going to be a cooler day. Highs only in the 50s. We're kind of out of that dense fog and hazy sky scenario that we've been in for several days now. Instead, we're going to start off with morning lows in the 40s, highs only, though, in the mid-50s. When we see these rainstorms come in, we don't have those wild swings from morning lows to afternoon highs. We'll be in a fairly steady temperature pattern. Active weather begins on Thursday. We get a break on Sunday for the mountains, the foothills, and the coast, and then we're right back at it for our Monday forecast. So again, we did put that weather impact alert day now on Thursday and Saturday. Could add Monday, but right now, weather models really favoring not quite the precipitation that we're going to see on Thursday and Saturday. That's certainly a day to watch. But then, as we reveal the rest of the forecast, highs staying in the mid to upper 50s, even some low 60s popping up in parts of the valley, and the winter solstice arrives on that last day of the 10-day forecast there. So we'll keep you posted on all these weather changes. A lot to unpack here as atmospheric rivers gear up to hit the West Coast once again.